out here looking like a convict for some reason. Hey review family, keep it high, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy. I'm back again to bring you another video, and in this one I'm going to be covering the new Creeping Death album entitled Wretched Illusions. So this is the first studio-length album, the first official full-length album by the Dallas, Texas death metal band Creeping Death. They've released a demo, some EPs, some singles, but this is kind of their first main project. As you guys know, I follow a lot of different publications, news outlets, and musical forums and stuff like that, and I heard this getting some kind of anticipation a couple weeks back, so I just added it to the list, added it to the calendar. Not really been that familiar with this band. Wasn't even sure if I was going to cover it, but after checking it out, I figured, yeah, I should probably talk about it. This record proves Creeping Death to be a band like a lot of other death metal bands right now that are very focused on reviving an old school death metal sound. If we're going to get really specific, I think this sounds a lot like Gorguts. This is kind of an amalgamation of different influences. I hear early death metal, I hear some newer death metal, I hear that old death metal come out and how chunky and grim and gritty everything is, and how just those guitars are, and just how kind of cookie cutter the vocals can be. I hear a lot of 80s thrash metal and how some of the grooving riffs can function, as well as the guitar solos. I like that the band is able to sound completely horrific on tracks like Bloodlust Contamination, especially near the latter half where it just goes almost to a standstill. It is so doomy. Tracks 2, 3, and 4 launch you straight into the havoc with a very simple drum pattern on all three that could be considered familiar and similar on all three tracks, once again showing the fact that this band really does value the old school veneer, considering all the old school bands really liked having very compact track listings, very, compact song links, very compact album links, and kind of just push you right into the frenzy. This is no different considering it's 10 tracks in 39 minutes. The first track, Ripping Through Flesh, has one of the most grossest and eerie, ominous introductions of any death metal record recently, but with all the praise of the performances and how great everything sounds, I do have some nitpicks on this record. While it is really nice to put on nostalgia goggles and say this does sound like old death metal, the performances are great and all that, when it comes to the riff writing, when it comes to the solos, when it comes to the vocals, nothing about this is really anything that those bands didn't do, let alone countless other death metal bands right now reviving this old sound. Specifically, a lot of the bands on the 20 Buck Spin label, and the thing about this record is I would prefer a lot of those other contemporary bands over Creeping Death. The reason for that just simply being the fact I'm not a big fan of the production on this record. A lot of times the vocals can feel either too blown out or too far back into the mix. The consistency on the mixing is a little bit shaky, and in the wake of trying to perform this style that older death metal bands performed in the past, they lose the concept of that rawness and rigidness of the production. A lot of this feels so well produced that this type of mixing could be translated to a technical death metal album, which is good for technical death metal, but for a record that is trying to be old school death metal, not a big fan of the production style. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's lifeless. It definitely does still have a lot of push and a lot of motion. I just wish it was a little bit more raw or rigid, or they just went the full way and made it technical death metal. Still though, in this compact track listing, I think you will enjoy this, and I think there is something to be gotten out of it. I do think there are some bands that are doing this kind of old school death metal sound better than this, but Creeping Death is by no means bad. They've obviously studied up and they definitely know exactly what they're doing when it comes to performing this style. Kudos to the band for making a record that kind of encapsulates that old style in kind of more of a modern format. I'm going to be giving this album a 6.5 out of 10, and that is a wrap. Please stay for the end screen. I'll link some videos that you might be interested in. Have you heard this new Creeping Death album, Wretched Illusions? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss the record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. It helped me out a lot. Subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy. You know who it is, and I'm signing off saying farewell.